So let's turn it to the hard court. Man, ECU basketball.
Oh boy, oh boy. I wish I was wrong. I wish I was wrong.
What the hell, man? Come on.
Fortunately, I'm right about ECU basketball, but I wish I was wrong. I really, 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 really do. But
And I see the discussion about is Schwartz on the hot seat. I don't think so.
and we've already talked about this.
But there are some coaching lapses that occur sometimes. Not calling timeouts at the right time, calling a timeout when you don't need to call a timeout, fouling when we were up, 3, fouling, and then they came back, tied it. I don't know, man. I feel like there's not as much awareness there. He's too busy dancing on the court. I don't know if you saw the picture. He was like 2 feet away from the opposing coach's coaching box last night. So that's always fun to watch. But no, I feel like at times the situational awareness isn't there. And I don't think that ECU has played in enough ball games where they've had a chance to. Well, they've played in a bunch of close games, but I don't think they've played enough to where they know how to close out a game that's coming down to the wire.
Right.
Or they haven't done it enough. Right? Like there's certain ways to close out a game. And running down the court, I believe ECU had like 7 seconds left with a chance to win it, and just running down and not getting anything set up or anything, not calling a timeout, that's you got to be better than that.
I mean, I would absolutely agree that yes, you have to be better than that. But at the end of the day, it's like for those that are saying that Schwartz is on the hot seat, where are we going to find a better coach, right? Like where is that going to come? Where are we going out?
I mean, who's going to take the job?
Right.
I mean, Kevin Keats with a shot at NC State. Not even really a shot, but I don't know.
I think look, we've talked about this ad nauseum as far as like what it takes for ECU basketball to turn in the league.
You got to cheat.
You got it.
I have said this time and time again.
I will turn the other cheek. I will look people dead in the eyes, but I don't know what's going on at ECU.
I have said this time and time again, Artie.
I don't know what's going on.
The way to, if you are traditionally a not very good program, East Carolina University, if you're traditionally not a good basketball program, there's 3 ways to win. You have one miraculous season where it's just everything comes together, a la Florida Gulf Coast, a la Florida Atlantic, right? Like Wichita State, which Wichita State is kind of on the – they've had a decent program for the most part.
Yeah, they've been to tournaments.
But you have a magical run where people get to know your name. You make a run to the Sweet 16. You are the Cinderella of the –
Jared, I just want to get to the tournament, man. We're not talking national championships.
Right.
We're not talking Sweet 16s.
Oh, I would take an NIT.
I just want to get to the dance. That's literally all I want. I just want to get there. We're not talking championships. I just want to get to the dance.
I don't know, man, but have a magical season. You're the Cinderella. You're a blue blood. Kentucky, Duke, Carolina, formerly UCLA, like those schools that have that history, right?
Yeah.
And then number 3 is you cheat.
But
Larry Brown.
I don't know. I feel like a case study should be done on ECU at times too, because it's like and people can't say it's not like we can get the talent, right? Jaden Gardner, Tristan Newton. Literally, we've seen these guys in East Carolina uniforms, and they've gone on to other programs. Literally, in the case of Tristan Newton, helped UConn win a national championship, and Jaden Gardner went to UVA and balled the hell out. It's not like we're not getting talent. The talent is there. We're not developing it. It's not wanting to stay. I don't know what it is, but it's like there's got to be a case study, because like literally when I saw those two moves, and I saw what those guys did at those other universities, I'm like, oh my God, it's not that we can't recruit. It can't be.
I mean, look at Kinston. Kinston is right down the road. How do you miss on every single guy coming out of Kinston?
And they produce NBA talent, not just one, a few.
I mean, Kinston has to have the most NBA players by capita.
That concentration of basketball talent is crazy. And yes, Farmville Central too. Josh has put that in the chat.
Oh,
Farmville Central is phenomenal. Absolutely.
Shout out friend of the podcast, Brandon Avery. He's gonna love that little shout out.
Yeah.
Alum of Farmville Central. But yeah, I mean, RJ Felton continued to be a man on a mission. Him and Brandon Johnson each scored 14 points against North Texas. And then you come out last night, lose by 3 in overtime. Brandon just texted us, go Jags, baby. So SMU lose by 3 in overtime, 80-77. I mean, I don't know. To me, go ahead.
I'll just say this though, because just pertaining to this season in particular, right? Because we've lost 4 straight games, and it's the way we're ending this regular season that's so disappointing, because we've actually had a chance to kind of end it on a positive note. We're sitting at 14-12 at one point. You had a chance to end this on a positive note, to really kind of take the reins and go into the conference tournament with some juice. And granted, we've played teams at the top of the conference over the course of the last 4 games. I get that, but it's the way we're losing. The game when SMU was competitive, right? That was an overtime loss, 80-77. But those other 3 losses consecutively were blowouts. They were not close. They were not competitive close games.
It's like we play close. We play up to our competition, but then we play down to our competition at times, and there's really no in between.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to make of it, but this has been ECU basketball, right? Like, there's always a chance. I mean, I think back to our freshman year back in 2013 playing Duke, and I think we lost by 9 and being excited about that, right? Like, lost by 9 to Duke, but that's, I don't know. I don't know, Artie. I don't know what to make of it. Also, shout out Josh dropping another factoid in our chat here.
Yeah, read that out to the people. That's absurd.
Since 1972, 1 out of every 53 varsity players from Kinston High School has made an NBA roster. Based on the national average, Kinston High School players are 63 more times likely to make it to the league than anyone else.
What's going on in Kinston? What's going on in the water? What do they have in the water? What are they feeding these boys? How is this possible? How is this possible? That nugget right there is absolutely absurd. That is absurd.
I don't know. Artie. You gotta figure out how to get some of those guys to ECU. Stay home.
It's right down the road. It's next door. I don't get it. I do get it, because you got blue bloods in the state. But
yeah, I think that's the biggest hurdle for ECU is, I mean, going up against 2 of, if not the 2 most storied programs.
Yeah, you're not competing
in college basketball.
That's a dream that'll never be fulfilled. You're not competing with Duke Carolina. Not in basketball.
All right. RJ, one other shout out to RJ Felton, extending his streak of double-digit scoring games to 22. This weekend, Saturday, March 9th, 4 o'clock, being Minji's. It's on ESPN Plus, paint it gold for Senior Day.
Yeah.
So yeah, that shout out to that. Women's basketball, the women, they dropped senior night. They dropped the game senior night against Temple. Owls honestly just blew us out of the Coliseum that night. 81-66. It never felt close. Danae McNeil, 21 points, made her the first player in ECU history to score 20 plus points in 8 consecutive games. But then already you lose on senior night, but then you go and you avenge yourself.
Yeah.
Take care of the 49ers down in Charlotte, 71-66. And I mean, sweep the 49ers. So not what we were hoping. I mean, for when we began the season, granted, you've had a lot of injuries on the women's side of the game, but finished 16-13 on the year, 9-9, so 500 in conference play. You're going to be the 9 seed going into the tournament, and you got to take on Memphis. So, your thoughts going into the tournament, and can the Pirates make another run in the American?
I think they can make a little noise. I don't think that they can actually make the kind of noise and make the kind of run to actually win the conference or maybe even get to the semis. I think they can get to the quarters. I think they're good enough to get to the quarterfinals. I think they make a little noise. But I just think the season's been a little too up and down. The injuries have taken their toll. And this team, they're just not what they were last year. They don't have that juice that they had last year. I was thinking like a 20-9 season for this Pirate Women's Club. I thought they would get to 20 wins. I really did. I thought this was a team good enough to get to 20. It just didn't fall. It just didn't. It didn't fall in the cards like that. So I think they can make a little noise in the tournament, but as far as making a deep run, no, I don't see it.
Yeah, and I have a feeling Sunday, the game Sunday at 1 o'clock, is going to be a nail biter. I mean, ECU beat Memphis on the road,
right,
early in January, by a point, and then lost to them at home on the 17th of February. So, I mean, this should be an absolute stunner, or as they say in ESPN or on ESPN when you play NCAA football, an instant classic. So, be glued to the TV Sunday, ESPN Plus.